Fear stops life. Everything that you desire, everything that you dream of, everything that you want to see and accomplish in your life is on the other side of your fear. The thing about being brave is that it doesn't come without the absence of fear and hurt. Bravery is the ability to look fear and hurt in the face and say, move aside. Move aside. Because what I'm grinding towards, what I know is for my highest good, what I want to put into this earth is on the other side of my fear of believing I'm inadequate, the fear of making a mistake, the fear of being alienated from other people because I don't fit into their group and into their standards. Everything that you know is for you, it's on the other side of that fear. And so today I want to talk about the fear of public speaking. I did a little bit of research. Come to find out, that's basically like all of us. I don't know if it's you in particular, but maybe it's the other person standing next to you, because it's 1 and 2. The medical term for this fear is glossophobia. I'm gonna put it on the screen so y'all don't think I'm just making words up, but that's what they said. They said glossophobia impacts more humans, or another way to put this is that people fear public speaking more than they fear death. Baby, will put me in that group, because you want me to express myself. You want me to convey my thoughts, my feelings, my expertise in front of a group of human beings where I get to see their face. I get to see if they're really vibing with my energy. And if I make a mistake, I see that too all over their face, in their body language, what they say, what they don't say. That's a lot. That get me nervous. That get me nervous. And so for those of us who understand, right, who can relate to the debilitating anxiety that comes with public speaking, you know that trying to conquer it, it's not for a lack of effort, right? We do the breathing exercises, we do the pep talks, right? We even hop on YouTube and try to find some motivational videos on you got this, you're enough, whatever it is, to try to help us to present ourselves, to stand on stage and to showcase our art, to showcase our talents, to showcase our expertise. And it's difficult. And I want to share my story of how I recently got on stage as a poet and presented a poem to a coffee shop in Orlando, and how I pushed past my inner critic, how I balanced my energy while on stage, because this was a first for me. I've been a poet all my life. This was the first time I've ever gotten on stage. And wow. So let's get right into it. Worry often gives a small thing a big shadow. And what I mean by this is, the longer we wait to take action because of a fear we have, the greater that fear becomes. It becomes like the boogeyman, right? For me, presenting on stage in front of people, no. And plus I have experience with it from my degrees, where in college, right, being a business major, there were a lot of presentations, a lot. And so there's also some shame in there too, because it's like, okay, Raven, you've done presentations before, right? It's almost similar, right? To get in front of people, to share your thoughts, whatever. But even then, it was difficult for me. When I tell you every presentation I gave, I always felt, underprepared. And that was on my part, but not because I didn't prepare, but because I felt like it was never enough. You know what I mean? Like, I would prepare, but why do I still feel so anxious? Why do I still feel not ready? And that's what it was all the time. And since being out of school, right? I think it's been like 5 years or something like that. I hadn't done any presentation since then. Whew, right? God bless. Thank you. But what that has done is perpetuated the fear, the anxiety of getting on stage. And where I'm at in life right now, I know that it's holding me back. It is crippling me. I will not be able to see the growth, the glory, the blessings that I know have my name on it if I'm not allowing myself to step in front and to receive them. You know what I mean? And what I have found is that it's rejection that we fear. When we get on stage, public speaking in general, whether it's, for school, for work, for your art, public speaking puts us in a position of, okay, I'm going to share my thoughts, my ideas, my points of view. Will I be received by the audience? Will they reject me? Will they make fun of me? Will they see me as incompetent? Will they make fun of me when I perhaps mispronounce a word? Ooh, child. It'd be the little things like that that trip us up and make us feel like, well, the whole presentation is shot. Just throw it all away because I said the instead of they, and I sounded real crazy, and it's like a snowball effect of fear. It mounts, and it grows, and it grows. And before you know it, the fear is bigger than you. And the fear is bigger than your faith. Now you have little faith to believe that you can overcome that fear, that you are supported in overcoming that fear. And for me, I knew that had to end. That whole thinking, that whole mindset had to end for me. Because again, like what I want to do in life, what I want to see in life, professionally, as an artist, in all realms of my life, this fear cannot be bigger than me. And so I take you onto my story. Recently got on stage, first time ever, and I was so nervous. It was a small crowd. I'm not even gonna hold y'all like that. It wasn't like it was a crowd of 50 people. This was a crowd, an intimate crowd of 20 people, if that, 15 to 20, right? It was a close space, so it felt like a little bit more, right? But a very intimate setting. It felt very homely. It felt very inviting. Still nerves, still a bag of nerves, right? And I told myself, hey, I'm just gonna check out. I'm just gonna check out the vibes and see what it's talking about. But there was an opportunity, and this is huge, is when we're presented with opportunities to overcome our fear, regardless of what our inner critic is telling us, we have to take that opportunity. It is so paramount in healing yourself, in healing those internal wounds of belief, is when you're presented with an opportunity to step forward, take it. And that's what I felt I had, because people had signed up, but then the people that did, they had already went. So it was like, okay guys, there's more space on the sign up sheet, come up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Raven, if you don't do it, like, you'll regret it, right? If you don't do it, like, now you're going to be even more fearful, because here you are with the opportunity to do it, but you didn't want to do it because you're nervous, but not doing it makes you even more nervous. Baby, didn't I say a snowball effect? It's a snowball effect, okay? So I didn't want that. And that's how I knew I was ready for change, because in that moment, it meant more to me to do it afraid than to wait and let that fear build. That's a word for somebody. That's a word for somebody. I had to do it. And so I put my name on that list. I'm shaking. My legs, like shaking. Ew. And I said to myself, like, hey, it's okay. I knew in that moment it was an opportunity for me to speak life into myself, because here I am with these emotions presented of feeling inadequate, feeling not ready, all of those wounds, all of those insecurities coming back up to the surface. And I knew it was my opportunity to comfort myself, to empower myself in a way that I didn't do in the past. And to me, that meant everything, because since then, since college, right, I have since done some healing, right? I've grown. I've adopted new habits and new ways of thinking to help me transmute energy, to help me transform in from moment to moment. And so in that moment there, I was able to apply all that I have learned up until this point. And so I'm doing my breathing mechanisms, right? I'm doing it, and I'm meeting it with all that I have in me, because I'm like, I'm getting up there. It's happening. I get up on stage. Before I ask someone to record it, because I'm like, I need evidence. And that's what this was all about. And perhaps that's for you too, where you need to get more evidence to help you support the new narratives you want to cultivate for yourself. But know that it doesn't happen without you taking a leap of faith. And that's the scariest part. But know that the first step is always the worst. The first step is always the hardest. And then after that, now the snowball effect is working to your favor, right? Now, after you get up there, after you do that thing that you're so afraid of, you get a new sense of like, I did that. It's done now. It wasn't so bad. Which is totally the case for me. I got on stage. I did my poem. I got some snaps, right? Which was so empowering to get. And I did it all the way to the end, right? I didn't cop out. I didn't get fearful of the moment. I stuck with it. And the result of me sticking with it, I felt so empowered. I felt so like, what was I afraid of? Like, I know our fears are real, right? All that we create in our mind makes those fears lifelike. And that's been the story for me for so long. But here I was in this moment where I stood face to face with my fears, and they shrunk. I didn't back down from them. I didn't turn away from them. I didn't allow them the space to grow and to get bigger. I said, I'm going to show up. If you're going to be there in the room with me, be there in the room with me, but I'm showing up and I'm stepping on stage. And what I've gathered from this experience and what I hope to impart onto you all is your inner critic has gotten out of hand. Mine has too. You're not alone. And by checking your inner critic, by announcing yourself in the room with your inner critic and saying, hey, you go off at the mouth and you tell me whatever you want to tell me about myself, how I'm not ready, how I'm not capable, how I'm not with all that I need to show up in this moment. And I've listened to you for so long, but I don't want to believe that anymore. And it's that desperation to rewrite that narrative or rather just to stand face to face with your inner critic and say, no, I'm choosing something different. It's time to do just that. It's time that you allow yourself space to evolve into what you want to be, right? Your inner critic doesn't run the show. I saw something that said naming your inner critic can help a lot by putting distance between you and the thoughts that come into your mind, right? We have those intrusive thoughts that come out of nowhere, randomly telling us, oh, you know you shouldn't do that. Remember the last time you did it? I mean, I know it's not exactly that, but it's kind of similar, and this is what happened, so you shouldn't do it, right? It's crazy how thorough our inner critic can be, so thorough that we believe it, and it seems valid, and it seems right. And to be honest, sometimes you do have the evidence to support that. Oh yeah, I shouldn't do that because last time. But in doing that, you're keeping yourself in the past. You're telling yourself that you cannot grow, you cannot be anything different than what you have been. You and I both know that's not true. You and I both know that you've grown so much since that last occurrence, right? You have transformed and healed and taken accountability to show up and to learn and to grow and to develop into whatever way that you needed to best support yourself in this new season that you're in, that you don't even really relate to those older seasons that you used to live in. You've expanded, but keeping those narratives, keeping those evidence pieces, right, from your past is keeping you restricted. And what I've learned in conquering my fear of public speaking, right, it's going to be an ongoing process. I'm going to just throw that out there too, right? I'm human. So me being able to step into someone who can conquer public speaking in that moment, it may look a little different the next time I do it. And I'm okay with that. And I recognize that it will be, because it's an ongoing process that I have to continuously pour into by building evidence, by building a narrative too, speaking to myself and saying, okay, Raven, you got this, girlfriend, because you have something of value to give to your audience, right? What you're saying matters, believing that what you're pouring out into the world is of quality is what helps you to feel confident in what you're standing in front of people doing, right? And this goes to whatever your fears may be, but in particular, speaking to public speaking and having that social anxiety, really is what it is to know that you are valuable. What you have to give is of value, and don't doubt that. And what some tips and tricks that has helped me with this last time and going forward: prepare, study, take notes, become familiar with the topics you want to share, right? If it's something creative like art, like poetry, rehearse your poem. Rehearse it in all different types of ways. And more importantly, when you rehearse it with intention. So when you're on stage, how do you want to present yourself? Practice it just like that. And this goes for any type of presentation, school, work, whatever the case. Present it as if you are presenting it to your audience, right? So if you want to make sure your posture is standing tall, and you are projecting, and you are confident and your gestures are in line with your story. Practice it just like that. Do your breath work, right? Before you go on stage, before you go on to present, slow and steady. Your system is nervous, right? Your nervous system is nervous, right? And your fight or flight is triggered, right? That system that tells you, I don't know, are we in danger? I think so. Pump up the adrenaline because I need us to hurry up and make an exit, to run, to fight. It's triggered. So it's you reconstructing your thought around presenting that will help you get that system in check. Because you being triggered, that fight or flight system being triggered is not a bad thing. We don't want to override that. We don't want to get rid of that. That is healthy. It is normal, you know? Instead, it's reconstructing our thoughts around presenting. We need to tell our body, our mind, our nervous system that presenting is not a threat to us. Getting on stage is not a threat to us. Presenting at work on something that I am passionate about, something that will result in a raise, result in me moving up in the professional ladder. That's not a threat to us. We can do that. Reminding yourself and coaching yourself can help you to calm your nervous system and for you to bring about clarity and a sense of steadiness, as opposed to, and then as you notice, right, you start to talk real fast, you start to stumble all over your words, and ultimately this results in that self-fulfilling prophecy of, okay, if I think something's gonna go wrong, your mind is already looking for things to go wrong. So coaching yourself, reminding yourself that, no, this is not a threat to us. We want to do this. This is our choice to do this. We are safe to do, we are capable of doing this. And I pray that's what you take from this video, is that your dreams matter. What you want to accomplish matters. And the way in which you go about getting to those accomplishments, getting to those milestones, you're capable of doing just that, whatever it takes. And public speaking is not a threat. It is not the boogeyman. Though our mind has made us believe that, right? Like our whole body has said, public, I'm not about to get on stage. And that is a lie. It's not true. It's not true. And this is coming from someone who has feared it for so long. And I'm gonna share a little secret with you guys. I still kind of do. Just a little bit. And that's me being transparent. That's me being real. That I have allowed, and this is it, is that I've allowed the boogeyman to grow. The boogeyman of public speaking has gotten so big that me getting on stage one time, it did something. It definitely did. But it's gonna take me pouring more compassion into myself. It's gonna take me showing up on stage a few more times before my idea of public speaking completely shifts, where I have a complete new outlook on it, where it's like, public speaking, yeah, do it. And genuinely mean it, right? Because I could say it now. I could say, I did get on stage, right? Here's the proof. I got on stage, I spoke my art, shared it with people. Public speaking is whatever, like I did that. All facts, All facts. The fact still remains that it takes work to undo years of fear. And that's okay. That's okay. Acknowledge that you are taking the steps necessary. And every time you take a step, I need you to stand tall and speak back to your inner critic. Speak back to that fear and say, 1 for me, 0 for you. You know what I mean? Like, get big about it, because that's exactly what it takes to overcome fear. It takes you pouring continuously into it and saying, you don't have space here anymore. And you show that by continuously taking up the space it used to take, right? And so going forward, continue to do what you know is for your highest good. Fear is a figment of our imagination, right? It's a course of time that we've allowed fear to grow. Fear can get so big that that's all you see, that's all you believe. But know that you can believe something new. Believe that you can dream something different. You don't have to dream about the boogeyman. You can dream a new dream. And so do whatever you feel will empower you to do just that. I believe in you. I believe in you. If a girl like me, who's man, so much fear of sharing my art, so much fear around being vulnerable, so much fear. If someone like that, with fear that big, can get on stage and share their poetry, come on, baby. I know you can do it too. I know you can. I know you can. I don't doubt it, not even kind of. I don't care what evidence you try to give me. I don't care what has happened in your past. I don't care how many times you have fallen on your face and made mistakes. I don't care. I know you can do it. I know you can conquer that fear. I know you can. I believe in you. I believe in you. Believe in you too. Bye.